Hello there. Before the general election, we saw 8 political parties formed out of the freedom movement, and during the election itself, they didn't do too great. They got less than 3% of the total party vote that was cast, and to be honest, that's not much of a surprise for a couple of reasons. First of all, single issue parties often struggle to get their voices heard over and above the hubbub of a general election with a number of parties running. And secondly, the freedom movement itself has always overestimated its own influence because they work within a bit of a bubble. So when we saw the results, it didn't really surprise anybody that they did so poorly, except those that were heavily invested in what it was that they were doing. And the way that they've reacted has been really fascinating. But what's more fascinating is what this could actually mean for conspiracy theorists and those people that they try and grift off in the future. You see, while there were some interesting reactions like Democracy NZ saying nothing but changing their Facebook profile picture, or Leighton Baker putting out a video saying, hey, maybe 2% on one opinion poll of preferred Prime Minister isn't enough to set up a political party, you had other people like Alfred Naro filming this on a potato saying, thank you for the support, really impressed with what we managed to get done in such a short amount of time. You had New Zealand Loyal turning around saying, hey, you know what, maybe those 570,000 special votes have 1,000,000 votes for us. And you had the New Zealand Women's Party, or whatever the hell they call themselves, the Women Rights Turfathon Party, put up a conference that they were involved in September, and that was pretty much it. So when it comes to what this actually means, well, it actually means a weakening of power for them. You see, research out of the United States shows that if you feel like you have some influence and control of the outcome of an election, it's much harder to turn around and say that the system is rigged. And they've got a lot of research on this over the years. One of the things I found most fascinating, though, is if somebody gets elected who holds these beliefs, it negates a whole bunch of internal wire work essentially saying, oh, the whole system is against us, because they're there. That is part of the system that was set up that people had a say in by voting. And we know that in this parliament at the moment, under preliminary results, there's at least 2 candidates who fit within that category. You've got Tanya Unkovich from New Zealand First, who's a big fan of Nuremberg people, and you've got Ryan Hamilton from National, who sided with sovereign citizens. So those people being there legitimizes the belief that the system works, which undercuts those people telling them the system does not. So you're going to see two very different kind of outcomes. First of all, you're going to get a whole bunch of excuses as to what went wrong, like EMF radiation the night before the election to make everybody sick, or absolute massive corruption at the Electoral Commission, in what is most likely going to be some kind of systemic screw-up that isn't really huge issues of corruption. Not great, but still not corruption. The other thing this is going to do is actually weaken the hold that these grifters have on people. So they're going to revert back to a lot of the stuff that you've seen before that's all there to rage farm. Things like kids having kitty litter trays in classrooms, which is a common one that pops up all the time. And while it's technically based on reality, it's not the woke madness that they put it out there to be. It's because when you are involved in a school shooting in the United States, you need somewhere for kids to be able to go to the bathroom. That's terrible. But this is a kind of rage farming thing that these guys are going to fall back on. And you'll see a lot of it over the next 6 to 12 months as they try and claw back those people who are questioning whether or not the system is actually broken, if it can get people like Tanya Unkovich and Ryan Hamilton into Parliament. So maybe having them there isn't the worst thing. It's not the best, but it will be interesting to see how this changes people's beliefs and how the system actually works, who are already questioning these things because they've been rage farmed for years.